Hey y'all, it's your girl Z. I know I've been promising you guys for a very long time to tell y'all about the truth behind my Bali experience a year ago. Y'all have been waiting, and I've gotten hit up by so many people. I have time tonight, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it. Okay, so if you hop on here, if you have questions, ask your questions, give me your comments. What time is it? It's 10:32. I chose to get on this live this late because I knew people would be winding down, possibly in your bed already, relaxed, comfortable. Because this story that I am about to bestow on everybody is probably the most bizarre thing that y'all will ever hear. Okay. Even sitting here and reminiscing on the whole experience that I went through in Bali a year ago. Uh, y'all. Anyway, so I know some of you probably like, what's making her come out and talk about it now? So a lot of you guys have hit me up. And informed me. I didn't know this because I blocked him on social media. But he is currently locked up in Ethiopia. Um And all I have to say to that is I wish him well. Um, but karma's a bitch. Excuse my French, okay? So let's talk. Let's get the tea. I'm chilling in my son's room tonight. I miss him dearly. But his bed is comfortable. And I was like, if I'm gonna be on here for a little minute, I may as well get on here and talk to you guys. Talk to you guys where I'm most comfortable. So we can definitely finally get to the bottom of this whole Bali experience and surviving Mr. Kelly Rocker because, yeah, it was one hell of a time. All right, so here's the tea. So last summer, um, August 2024, I was single. I had been going through some stuff. I took time to myself. I was focusing on my business and I wasn't looking for anybody. I wasn't looking for a relationship. I wasn't looking for nothing. Um, I got an inbox one day from a guy named, as you guys already know, Kelly Rocker. And he was telling me about how dope I was, about how he liked my travel business and, how he loved everything that he saw me doing and things like that. And he was interested in knowing more about my business and knowing more about me and things like that. So we started talking back and forth. I told him what I did, how long I've been in the industry, how I usually like travel, get my content, normal business talk, things like that. Well, obviously, by now, you guys have figured out that business talk turned into more personal talk. And what really intrigued me about him was that he was a male in the travel industry with his own legit travel company. Men in the travel industry they're not as much as women at all. Women, we dominate in the travel industry. And I'm not just saying that just to hype us up. Like, we really do dominate. So to see a male in the travel industry who has his own company, who has a legit website, and things like that, and who's well put together, I was impressed. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, you're in the travel industry, you travel the world, you live abroad. Things are obviously going well for you because I'm looking on this website and I see all these reviews and I see all these pictures and I'm just like, he's really got it going on, especially for a male who travels and he takes all of his content himself. He takes it himself, he edited it himself, he uploads it himself. So he reminded myself of me, like a one-man show. Like, you do all the work, the research, the marketing, everything, and it's ran by you. And I know how much hard work that is being in the travel industry because I do it myself. It's not easy traveling solo, taking the content, editing the content, putting the content together in videos, and then uploading it. Y'all, that take a lot of damn work. So for me to meet a man in the industry who was doing it and from my viewpoint was doing it fairly well, I was impressed. Okay. So we got into the more personal talk, how long you been single, this, that, and the third. Are you dating anybody? And he told me no. He told me he wasn't dating anybody. He told me he was living in Bali, Indonesia, that he's from Akron, Ohio. So if y'all on my live, y'all from Ohio, you can't be in my clique. I'm sorry. He said he's from Akron, Ohio, and he said the reason why he moved to Bali was because of the divorce from his ex-wife. Um, they'd been through some stuff, and they had gotten him locked up, and he decided to move to Bali, Indonesia to start anew. And I was like, oh, okay, well, everybody has a past. It's not my place to judge. But obviously you're doing well in life, and I commend you for that. So it got to the point to where him and I were talking like every day, all day, hours on the phone. Like we would FaceTime for hours talking about the travel industry, talking about each other, things like that. The normal honeymoon stage of relationships and stuff like that. Nothing new. Okay. So what ended up happening was during the time he was staying in Akron, Ohio, I believe, don't get me wrong, he was staying with this Caucasian woman. And if I remember correctly, I think her name was Karen. Don't quote me on that. I think her name was Karen. And he said that this woman named Karen allowed him to come stay in her home. That way, while he was in the States visiting his kids would be able to come spend the night with him, spend quality time with him, because he didn't have a home here in the States. He said his family wasn't fooling with him. He didn't have friends' houses to stay at. And his friend Karen was the only woman who would allow him and his kids to come into her home and stay there while he was visiting them in the States. Apparently she had like a huge house, and they were staying down in the basement that was like set up like an apartment style thing. And I was like, okay, cool. That's really nice of her, for her to allow you to stay in her home and bring your kids and all that stuff. Well, one night, this is when stuff started to get a little weird. One night, him and I were on FaceTime, and he was sitting in the kitchen at the kitchen table, and he kept whispering to me on FaceTime, and he was like, she's staring at me. And I was like, who's staring at you? And he was like, Karen, she's staring at me. And I was like, why would she be staring at you? And he was like, I think she's drunk. So he takes the camera, his FaceTime camera, and he turns the camera around. So he's acting like he's texting on FaceTime, but he's not. And she's standing there, and she is drunk out of her mind. And she's staring at him like she's pissed off. And he turns the camera back around. He was like, I don't know what's wrong with her, but I'm going to go downstairs. And I was like, okay, cool. So he goes downstairs, and he was like, yo, that was mad weird. And I was like, does she usually drink like that? And he was like, no, she don't. And I was like, okay. So while he's on the phone with me downstairs, Karen comes downstairs into the downstairs apartment, and she starts going off. And she goes, I know that's your girlfriend, and you told me she was just a friend, and ain't nobody gonna be in my house having these kind of conversations but me and such and such. And I was like, what in the hell is going on here? And she was like, the agreement for you to come here was for us to see where we could go and all this other stuff. And he was like, yo, Karen, you're drunk. I don't think you realize who you're talking to right now. And I was like, okay, this shit's weird. But anyway, fast forward. After that night, that was red flag number one, when she was drunk and telling him that the agreement for him to be living in Akron, Ohio in her house was for them to see where they were supposed to be going in a relationship. And I was like, well, I asked him, I said, well, have you guys messed around before, had an interest before? And he was like, no, we're just strictly friends. And I was like, okay. I mean, as a woman, I have nothing to discredit him for. So I was like, okay, maybe she was just drunk that night. So we go back to our regular talking, on the phone, texting, FaceTime, and all this other stuff. Few days later, I'm at work, and I get a message on Messenger. And I'm like, who is this chick? The girl's name was Allison McDaniel. Okay. And I'm like, I don't know what Allison McDaniel, but she sent me this long, long paragraph. And I was like, okay, what is this? So I'm going to read y'all the paragraph that this woman sent me on Facebook. Y'all ready? It says, hi, Zakira. My name is Allison, and I'm simply writing you to tell you I've been dealing with Kelly for over a year. We've had problems, and most recently, he's asked me to give him another chance and promise to protect my heart. Well, the thing about real love is when you see the. This is where she messed up in the message. It's supposed to say, well, the thing about real love is you can see when something is up. He started an argument with me for bringing up his behaviors with other women online and tried to make me feel as if it were me. So I did a little digging, and here I found you. He has probably made arrangements to see you, and from the looks of things, you two may be serious. I confronted him because I am tired of how he tries to play on my emotions when he's doing wrong. He ran. I'm not upset because people can fall for whomever they want. Just tell Kelly he didn't have to do things this way. Honesty is one of the main things I asked for this time. He doesn't like to take accountability, and so after I busted him out Wednesday with the news of you two, he blocked me. So I do hope you guys are happy. This is no way a dig at you, sweetheart. I'm sure you are a wonderful lady. It's Kelly. He knows he's lost me for good. He did not have to lose me as a friend, though. Since you two seem to be an item, let him know I'm disappointed but no longer mad. Now, that is the long message this young lady sent me on Facebook. Now, here's the thing about me. I'm the kind of woman that whatever you and a woman got going on in the past, that's y'all's business. I'm not going to interfere myself. I'm not about to message you and be like, oh, girl, what you talking about? Hey, who is this woman? Listen, the past is the past. And I know a lot of people try to get sneaky when they see somebody dating somebody new, and they'll try to hop in that person's image and be like, oh, you don't know what me and him did, or you don't know what kind of person he is, just to try to sabotage because they're unhappy. And I didn't know whether or not this was that kind of situation. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to just block old girl. Whatever God need me to see, he'll show me, and then I'll walk away when it's time for me to walk away. But I'm not going to involve myself with him and her past issues because that was before me, and that's none of my business. And that's how I handle that. So him and I continue on laughing, talking, and then, oh shit, y'all, I missed something real big in this story. Let me rewind. So a week after him and I were hitting it off, I'm telling you, like hitting it off, talking, texting, everything phenomenal. He's like, you should come to Bali. And I was like, Bali, Indonesia? And he was like, yeah, you should come to Bali. And I was like, I can't come to Bali. I have 1 month left in the summer. My son is going to be back in a month. I haven't planned for a trip. Like, I would literally have to drop everything right now and literally just come. He was like, but why not? Like, if you have the time at work, if you have, the plane, the money, the funds to get here, why not just come? You only live once. And I was like, shit, you know what? He right. You only live once. So what does your girl do? 7 days into getting to know him, I was like, you know what? It's Bali, Indonesia. Why not? I haven't gone on a trip this summer. I'll go. So I booked the plane ticket. He said, all you got to do is book your plane ticket. Once you get here, I will take care of everything else. You get here, everything else is on me. That is it. Let's meet halfway in the middle. I said, all right, cool, bet. Bought the plane ticket. And this was in June. I flew out into Bali the 1st of July. So it comes time for us to fly to Bali, and he was in Ohio. So the plan was that he was going to fly out of Ohio and go to Bali. I was going to fly out of Charlotte and go to Bali. Well, his flights leaving Ohio got completely jacked. He called me. He was in the airport flipping out. I don't know what to do. You're going to get to Bali. I'm not going to be there. You're going to get to Bali. I'm not going to be there. And I don't want you just stranded because I'm supposed to be there in Bali. And I was like, listen, I'm a travel agent. This is what I do. Like, if your flights are fucked up, like, I can legitly get you to Bali. So you know what I do. Get on my handy dandy laptop, doing my little travel thing. And I end up finding him flights to Bali that connected in Charlotte. Mind you, all contact between him and I was completely FaceTime and phone. We hadn't met in person. So meeting in the airport in Charlotte was going to be the first thing. Hey, Ashley, was going to be the first thing that we did. So I redirected his flights to Charlotte, and we met for the first time in Charlotte's airport. Okay. So first impressions of him, when he walked up to me, I was like, this dude is short. I ain't gonna lie, immediately I was turned off. I'm not saying that any man that I date has to have a height requirement, but I haven't dated a man that's shorter than me before. And he was not only shorter, but he was a little on the chubby side, if I have to be honest. So we met, everything. Hello, how are you? Hugs, just the normal, like, jittery meeting somebody for the first time. It was cool, it was getting some used to walking next to a short man in the airport, but it was what it was. So we spent a few hours in the airport getting to know each other, but our flights out of Charlotte were not the same flight. So he took a different flight to a different location, and I took a different flight to another location, but our flights ended up in Bali together at the same time, which was dope. Yeah, I put that off real good. So we get to Bali, get through security, we get to the villa, and I posted pictures of the villa online, videos. I went live inside the villa. So the first thing we do in the villa when we get there, we drop bags, and he was like, "You want to go for a swim?" Mind you, this is like at midnight in Bali, and I was like, "A swim?" I was like, "We just got off of a plane." He was like, "And put on your bathing suit. We're gonna go for a swim." You're in Bali, so we did. The first night I got to Bali, put on a bathing suit. We got in the swimming pool, laughing, talking. It was like a freaking dream come true. Like, I'm looking like, how in the world did I just end up in Bali, Indonesia, like a month after meeting this guy, and I'm literally like having the time of my life? Something like that, whatever. So the next day, we wake up and he says, "I want to give you a tour of the villa." I'm like, okay, cool. Mind you, this villa was Balinese style, little modern, with the glass windows, but it was really nice. And we started with the upstairs. Upstairs, really, really nice, really, really open space. The ceiling was open, and so technically there was a ceiling, but technically it wasn't a ceiling because still, like, the lizards and stuff could still crawl into the house from the ceiling. So it was still like a very open platform. So he shows me the master bedroom, shows me the bathroom, the closets, and things like that. The interesting part comes in where he gives me a tour of the downstairs. So we go downstairs, and immediately we end up in the kitchen. Really, really small kitchen. Anybody who's been to Bali and seen the traditional Balinese kitchens, they are super tiny, like closet tiny. So then he takes me into the second bedroom, which is downstairs, gives me a tour. Now, when he opens the closets to the bedroom downstairs, it is filled with suitcases. And then he takes me in the bathroom, and he gives me a tour of the bathroom, and he opens up the cabinets in the bathroom, and it's filled with hygiene products. Here's the thing about these hygiene products that told me a whole hell of a lot. Number one, they were female hygiene products. And number two, the hygiene products were Black products, not products that a white woman will put on her hair, but products that the Black woman will put on her hair. I'm talking about edge control type products. And I'm looking like, this is different. This is a woman's. And I know for a fact that this ain't his. So I was like, whose stuff is all this? He was like, oh, I have a friend who also lives in Bali. She's visiting her family in the US right now. And she asked me if I could hold on to her belongings while she's in the US because she doesn't want to pay rent while she's gone. She was going to be gone for about a year. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's nice of you. He was like, yeah, I'm just holding on to her stuff. And when she comes back, she's going to find her a place to stay. And I was like, okay, well, that's nice. Thought nothing of it, So we go on about, our day and everything. And we go upstairs, and I end up sitting on the couch. Well, one thing that was on the couch was a sheet of paper. Now, I'm not going to say I'm nosy, but your girl is nosy. So those of you who have not seen it by now, being a travel agent and traveling is not my full-time gig. Like, it's literally a side hustle that I'm turning into like a main business. Y'all, you see me? Those of you who do not know, I am a police officer in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm a whole law enforcement officer. I have multiple degrees in criminal justice. Okay. So those of you who don't know, okay, your girl is in law enforcement. So when something ain't right, something ain't tweaking, my curiosity spike, and I start looking into stuff because that's what I do. You know, I need answers, and we find answers. Okay. So I pick up the paper that's on the couch, and it's a lease agreement. And the lease agreement is in Balinese. So I'm looking like, the hell? Like, how in the world? First of all, I know for a fact he can't read their language, nor can he speak it. But one thing that was clear as day that I could read was the names. So at the back of the lease, on the signature, was just his name, Kelly Rocker, signed and dates. But on the front of the lease agreement, that's why I say, well, God be sending me, see, he sent me all kind of signs, y'all. We just got to pay attention. On the front of the lease agreement said Kelly and Angela, and there was a heart around both names. And I said to him, I said, who is Angela? And he said, oh, that's my friend in the U.S. I said, why is there a heart around you two's names? And he said, she went with me when I signed the lease here, and they thought we were together. But we had to explain to them that we weren't together. And I was like, oh, okay. Weird, but okay. So after that, I let it go. So while we were there, we had a conversation about, you know, past interests, friends, close friends, and people like that. You know, he asked me, he's like, who are your best friends? You know, people that you stick with in life. And I told him about, you know, my best friend Yasmin, Shanique, you know, I named, you know, my people. So it was his turn to name his people. He named Angela as one of them. He named Karen, which was the woman that he stayed in Ohio, as one of them. And then he named somebody named Sharika or somebody like that. Anyway, he named a few names. But again, he named names that stuck out and that I could remember. So I was like, okay, cool. So we go out, we're having a great time in Bali. And we come back in that day, and all of a sudden it starts to pour down rain. And when I say pour down rain, it rained nonstop. You know, sometimes here in the States, it'll rain for a few hours and then it'll stop. In Bali, that time, it rained for 72 hours straight. It did not stop. It did not stop. Hey, Mimi, it did not stop raining for 72 hours straight. We were stuck in the villa. There was so much rain, the pool had turned into an infinity pool. The backyard, the rice terraces, you couldn't see them no more. It just looked like everything was flooding. So we were stuck in the villa. So he was like, well, since it's raining, we can't really go anywhere. I'm going to take this time to catch up on rest because I'm kind of jet lagged. And I was like, okay, cool. So as you guys know, around that time, I had also posted and announced that him and I were going to go into business together. The name of his business was Air CMB. Air CMB. The name of my old business was One Life Luxury Vacations. I didn't want it not that I didn't want it anymore, but I felt like I was outgrowing how I started my travel business. So his particular business was, he was doing group trips. He was hosting group trips and things like that. That was his business model. So he has travel itineraries on his website, and pretty much he would get people to travel in with him, and he would host group trips around the world. And I was like, you know what? That's dope, because all I've been doing is booking people's trips and just sending them. But I'm like, if I can actually travel with them and show them these countries myself, I would love that. So he was like, well, if we're going to date, you know, if we're going to be an item, why not we just go into business together? We can both be the faces of this company. You, Mrs. Airbnb, me, Mr. Airbnb. We can rock this thing out together. And I was like, hey, why not? Shit, two heads better than one. I love this business concept. Let's do it. So while he was being jet lagged, catching up on his sleep, stuff like that, I would be on his not laptop, but on his tablet, posting stuff. Y'all remember me tongue tied. Y'all remember seeing me posting hella pictures, content in Bali, pictures of me and him, stuff like that on Facebook last year. I know y'all remember it because y'all used to blow up the likes, comments, views, everything. So I know y'all saw it. So one day I was going through all his pictures from his previous trips, and I noticed that a lot of his trips had some of the same women in it. And I mean, not like a woman here or there, but a lot of the same women. And one particular woman caught my eye. Now, call it what you want. I call it God sent, intuition, whatever you want to call it. There's one particular woman who caught my eye in all of the videos. And this is why. And those of you who still follow him on social media or you watched our content, I'm pretty sure you all can attest to this and agree to this. So the woman that caught my eye was a black woman. She was very much so well spoken. But anytime he put the camera on this woman, it was in a very intimate way, if that makes sense. It was as though he was using the camera to be his eyes to show how he admired her. I don't know if y'all can understand what I'm saying, but yeah. It's as though like the camera would move along her body from the bottom of her feet, up her legs to like her buttocks to her back. Like it's as though he was showing how he truly admired this particular woman. And the only time the camera moved like that was on her. It was only on her. And there's a lot more footage of her than anybody else. And I was like, damn, who is this woman? Because I remember he told me, he ain't been in a relationship in forever, according to him. But these pictures, these videos seem a little more intimate than what he's telling me. So y'all know me. Your girl go digging. Because one thing I've experienced from men and women, I've never dated a woman, but having female friends and hearing them talk, they'll lie their way out of something real quick if you let them. So one thing about me, I'm going to go find the answer. And then once I get the answer, I'm going to see whether or not you tell me the truth when I ask you. That's how I roll. So I was like, okay, I got to figure out who this chick is. So I found a video, an edited video, because mind you, he took all of his videos and he would put the videos together. He would edit the videos and put words where they're at. He would put the people's names. On this particular video I found, under her picture, well, when the camera flashed on her, her name popped up and it was Angela. And I said, this is the same woman he said is in the States right now visiting her family. Her stuff is downstairs. I was like, okay. So obviously, they've been friends for quite some time. So I'm sitting there and it's like God's voice. I don't even want to say God's voice. Maybe it was, I don't know whose voice it was. I heard a voice. And the voice was like, go through his text messages and find the thread that says Angela. So I did. I went through, cause on tablets, like with my laptop, in all my text messages in my phone also sync to my laptop. So if you pull up messages on my laptop, it'll show the same text message threads as my phone. And it was the same way with his tablet. So I was going through his messages, scrolling, and I see the thread that says Angela. So I click on it and I'm starting to read the messages. And this is what I came in. This is what I came into. So, it was the questions. Honestly, I could tell they were talking about me. And she was like, hey, who is this young lady? And he was like, oh, she's going to be a business partner. She's interested in doing business, with me. And she's coming to Bali to see if she likes Bali and to learn the ropes of the business and how I do things. And she was like, oh, okay, where's she staying? And he was like, oh, well, she's going to be staying in another villa. She's got her villa. She's not going to be staying in the house. And she was like, okay. And I was like, that's weird, because I'm not here for business partner purposes. This is more of like a intimate relationship purpose. And I'm not staying in another villa. I'm staying in his villa with him. So I was like, let me keep scrolling up these text messages to a while back and see what's really going on. So I scrolled like months and months and months and months. Hey, Rudy. And months scrolled. Like scrolled to like January of last year type scrolling. And so I'm reading the messages and it's, hey baby, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to feel your dick in me. And I can't wait to get in that bubble bath. And I've been missing you. And I'm like, skirt. What? Am I reading this? Huh? Is this the friend that has gone on the trips, that is visiting the family in the States, that her stuff is downstairs and you just holding it until she get back because she don't want to pay rent? Let me keep reading. So I'm reading and it's them running errands. Hey babe, I'll be home soon. Would you like for me to get anything from the store? What's for dinner? Don't forget we got to meet such and such for lunch. And we need to get more content for our business. And I'm just reading normal conversation talk of a couple. Okay? Of a couple. And I'm reading. And I'm like, okay. And then it was, what time do you have to be at the airport? I'm going to fly over to another country for a month or so. I miss you so much. I love you, blah, blah, blah. Can't wait to do this future together. Like, I'm looking like, what am I reading? So after I get through all these messages, something tells me, okay, Z, now that you've seen these messages, take your ass to his pictures. And I'm like, Lord, this damn voice has started some shit. This voice has got me detective mode of the year, and I am over here like, what am I about to find? Because I already found some stuff I wasn't supposed to find. So I open up the pictures and I'm scrolling. Mostly all I see right now is Airbnb pictures, videos of him, stuff like that. But then I really start scrolling. So I matched up the dates to the I love you messages to the dates of the pictures in the tablet. So I scrolled all the way back that far. Y'all, naked pictures of her, naked pictures of him, in the tub together, videos of them out in Bali together, him focusing the camera on her breast, on her butt. I'm like, this is not a friend. She's not a friend. She is not a friend. Like, she's not a friend. Like, God put the writing on the wall in bright gold, 24 karat gold letters. I said, this is not a friend. And I was pissed. I was heated. I was hot all in one because I was like, what the hell is going on? So, let me sit up a little bit. So, I put the tablet down and I go wake him up. Because mind you, at this point, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning in Bali. 3 p.m. in the United States, 3 o'clock in the morning in Bali. So I wake him up. I said, Kelly. And when I tell you, he jumped up out of his sleep like somebody was coming to kill him. I was like, are you okay? What is wrong? Are you okay? He was like, no. Is everything okay? You called my name. I said, yeah, I just wanted to talk to you. And he goes, yeah, what's up? I said, tell me the truth about Angela. Now, if you know you just got caught where your current girlfriend just caught you in a whole hell of a lie about somebody who's supposed to be a friend, and she just found naked pictures of you and her, and she missed the dick and she loved you and all this stuff in your tablet, when she say, tell me the truth about Angela, that is your cue to tell the whole damn truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Okay? At that moment, fellas, if y'all are ever in that situation, there is nothing you can do to lie your way out of it. Because again, what did I tell y'all? I go find the truth and then I'm going to question you to see whether or not you tell me the truth. I'm not going to give you the opportunity to lie and for me have to think of whether or not it's a lie or the truth. I'm going to just go find the truth first and then I'm going to see whether or not you tell me the truth once I question you on it. So his response was, when I said, tell me the truth about Angela, his response was, why? One word. Why? Right, Rudy? He ain't know how much info I knew. He ain't know. He said, why? I said, here's the problem. Why is the wrong response to me right now? It's 3 o'clock in the morning in Bali. I have more than enough money to book me another villa, and I have more than enough money to fly my ass back to the United States. You have one opportunity and one opportunity only to tell me the truth. So again, tell me the truth about Angela. Y'all, this nigga, he goes, well, her and I, we were friends and we messed around a little bit, but that was it. We were never in a relationship. I said, you were never in a relationship. I said, there's messages of I love yous being exchanged. Her stuff is downstairs. There is a rental agreement on the couch with both of your names and a heart around it. And there are naked pictures of each other in your tablet. And you guys were never in a relationship. No, we just messed around. She was the only person I knew here in Bali, and we kept each other company, and one thing led to another. And I was like, okay, call her. I said, pick up your phone and call Angela. You have her number. Call her. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, yeah, it's 3 o'clock in the morning here in Bali. But Angela, as you said, is in the United States. It's 3 p.m. in the United States. Therefore, she's up. She's awake. Call her. So he calls, but his number's blocked. And I'm like, this is strange. I said, let me see if I can call from my phone. At the time, my phone was still jacked up, international calling and stuff like that. So I was trying to call her from my phone, and it wasn't working. So I was like, all right, whatever. He was like, I'm telling you the truth. We were never in a relationship. It was just friends with benefits. That was it. Like, we were just messing around because obviously I'm not going to mess around with no Balinese woman. And she was the only black woman I knew here. And one thing just led to another. I swear to you, it was nothing. It was all before you. And I was like, if that's the case, why'd you lie? I said, why didn't you just tell me the truth when I asked you about it? Why did you try to keep it a secret? Well, I didn't think it was important, blah, blah, blah. You didn't think it was important? I said, all right, whatever. So we're in Bali. Mind you, the tension has built at this point, and we have grown space between each other because I'm looking at you sideways because this is not the same lovey-dovey Z in Bali having a good time, Mrs. Airbnb. This ain't what this is no more. So I was actually scheduled to come back to Bali like a couple of days later. Not to Bali, to the States a couple of days later. So he was like, hey, I've got this client coming to Bali. Since we're going into business together, it would be a great experience for you to be here when I host this client so you can get a feel of how the business works and everything else. This man was named Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry is the sweetest guy. Absolutely loved him. He has his own business and stuff out of Atlanta, Georgia. So I extended my stay in Bali. I got my flights rearranged, stayed in Bali a little longer from when Mr. Perry came. Now, here's the fucked up situation about this. And listen, I'm pretty sure y'all are not ready for what the hell I'm about to tell y'all. Because I was not ready when the truth hit me in Bali. Okay? I wasn't ready. Because when the truth hit me, I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I was pissed. I wanted to make it right, but I knew I didn't know how to make it right. So Mr. Perry comes. And I asked Kelly, I asked him, I said, hey, where is Mr. Perry going to live? And he said, so we're going to get the cleaners to come in. We're going to let Mr. Perry stay in the upstairs portion of the villa, and we're going to stay in the downstairs portion of the villa. We're just going to move all of my suitcases and stuff from upstairs to downstairs. That way it saves money on having to, buy a villa and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So Mr. Perry comes, we meet him. We start doing the tour and things like that. And something about the whole experience just didn't sit right with me. So one day, we were at a restaurant. We were hosting Mr. Perry, taking him around to the different temples and stuff like that. And what really pissed me off about Kelly was that when we would be hosting Mr. Kelly, we would be hosting Mr. Perry, we'd be taking him to the different temples, taking pictures of him. Kelly would up and disappear. And when I tell you disappear, I mean he would up and disappear. And me and Mr. Perry be looking like, where did he go? So he would take his camera and he would go to different parts of the temples to get his own content, footage, and things like that. And then me and Mr. Perry would be just sitting, waiting for him to come back. Or he would tell me to come, and then Mr. Perry would be sitting there waiting. And so I told Kelly, I said, hey, I understand you're trying to get content and stuff like that, but with Mr. Perry being your client, you have to get your you have to get your content before he comes. Because now you're wasting all this valuable time that he could be using to explore Bali, have a good time, and experience sitting around waiting on you to get your content. I said, this is the wrong time. I said, you can't wait for people to come into Bali to get your content. You have to wait until they are gone so they can get their full experience. Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Let's go back over here where he's at. But the thing is, that happened every single day that Mr. Perry was in Bali. And I kept talking to Kelly like, hey, you keep leaving this man to go get your own footage and your own content, and you're gone for 45 minutes to an hour, and this man is just sitting here sitting. Now, Mr. Perry was he was a bigger guy, much bigger than myself. And at times he would need assistance because, y'all, the terrain in Bali is far from even. It's far from paved. It's rocks. You got to be careful walking up and down steps and things like that. And Mr. Perry would need assistance at times. So I would be helping Mr. Perry. And I'm looking around at Kelly like, where did he go? Because this is your client. You need to be helping him as well. And I had that talk with Kelly, and Kelly was like, I didn't sign up to be his caretaker. I didn't sign up to help him up and down stairs and things like that. He should have made sure his health was ready enough to be able to handle this. And I'm looking at him like, what? I said, first of all, when you take a client, you take full responsibility of them while they're in that country with you. Not they fly in and you use their money to go to these temples to get your own content and you just leave them high and dry. I said, you need to go to him and you need to assist him with whatever he needs because he is your client. He's paid money to be here in Bali. And therefore, you need to make sure you are at service for him 24/7. So, one thing that Mr. Perry said to me, we were at dinner one day and Kelly had left to go to the bathroom. And Mr. Perry said, me and Mr. Perry were talking and laughing because him and I got along great. And he asked me about the villa. And he said, so is the villa you guys' villa? It's like, that's where you guys live? And I was like, yeah. And Mr. Perry was like, oh, okay. And when he asked me that, it struck a nerve because I was like, why does him asking me that not sit right? So, immediately I was like, Kelly told him that he booked that villa specifically for Mr. Perry's stay in Bali. He didn't tell Mr. Perry that Mr. Perry is going to be in his house in Bali. He told Mr. Perry that he was booked that villa specifically for his stay in Bali. I was like, that's messed up on so many levels. And let me tell y'all why this is messed up. Because the price that Kelly quoted Mr. Perry included lodging, food, excursions, boats, all of that. So Kelly had the money to book Mr. Perry a nice hotel or a nice villa of his own or a legit like villa that way but he didn't do that. He took those funds and put them in his pocket and told Mr. Perry he got the villa for Mr. Perry's stay when he didn't. That was Kelly's villa. That was Kelly's house. So when Mr. Perry asked me, oh, this is y'all's villa? Like, I'm thinking in my mind, Doesn't he know this? But then I was like, he doesn't know this. Kelly lied to this man. So we go through the trip, and Mr. Perry ends up having to leave Bali early. One of his employees within his company passed away. My condolences to them. And Kelly tells this man, Kelly says, we will finish your trip when you're ready. The funds that are still left over that we haven't used, I'll set them aside. When you're ready to come back, you'll fly back to Bali and we'll finish out your trip. And Mr. Perry said, okay, got him on the plane to get back in time for him to go to his employee's funeral. Now, get this. So, Kelly was like, well, after Mr. Perry left, Kelly was like, well, we got some extra money. What you want to do with it? You want to go to a beach club, temples? And I was like, where'd the extra money come from? And he was like, oh, the money from Mr. Perry's trip. And I said, no. I said, those funds are for when Mr. Perry comes back so he can finish his trip. And he was like, nah, when he chose to leave, he forfeited his trip. He can't, he gonna have to pay all over again if he want to come back to Bali. And I said, Kelly, that's fucked up. I said, I just sat here and watched you tell this man that due to the death of his employee, it was okay for him to go back and you were going to save his funds for when he flies back to Bali and finish out his trip. Well, yeah, I ain't doing that. He should have thought about that before he left. I said, what kind of business are you running? Please, what kind of business are you running? I said, that's not okay at all. On any level is that okay. Also, I realized that you lied to him about booking that villa for his stay when that you didn't tell him he was going to be staying in your house. Well, that's nothing he needed to know. I said, if he's paying you thousands of dollars for a Balinese experience, that's what he needs to get. Not you putting his money in your pocket for greed and cheating him out of his experience. I said, that's not okay at all. That is not okay. So we're going through this trip, and by the time Mr. Perry has left, and everything that's happened has like really settled in and really like peed me off to the max. I'm just like, I'm here in Bali. I just watched him shit over this client, this amazing client, Mr. Perry, that adorable man. I found out the bullshit about this woman who's supposed to be a friend who you've obviously been fucking and everything else, but you're trying to say it's never been a relationship. And I'm just like, this just does not feel right. This don't feel right at all. Now, the next thing that happens, we're in the villa and he opens up one of the closets. And in the closet, I swear to God, I should have took a picture and I should have took videos. In the closet, there were 7 to 8 brand new iPhones. 7 to 8 brand new iPhones, y'all. And I'm looking, I'm like, where the hell all these iPhones come from? And he was like, oh yeah, so, I got these friends. Okay, don't quote me on the destination. It's either Thailand or the Philippines. I think it may have been the Philippines. He was like, I got these friends out in the Philippines that work for Verizon. And pretty much, they get me these free phones, and then I send them these phones to where they're living at for them to have these phones. So pretty much it was some under the table, I don't know if I should say black market, but anyway, this is what he would do. I remember he told me. So pretty much he would order the phones. So he would go on Verizon, he would order a bunch of iPhones. His friends out in the Philippines, his friends out in the Philippines work for Verizon. Like, they work for Verizon. I'm not talking about like inside of a store, but I guess in like a big like corporate house or something like that. Anyway, they work for Verizon. They would get on the phone after he ordered the phones and they arrived to him. He would take the free phones, not the free phones, but he would take the phones. he would ship them to his people or his friends out in the Philippines or somewhere, somebody like that. Once they received the phones, they would go into his account on Verizon and they would wipe out the charges as though they didn't exist while they have the free phones. This is what he told me now. Like, he legitimately told me that he would order these phones from Verizon. He would get them. He would ship them or get them to the people in the Philippines or wherever they were at. And they would go into his account and they would wipe out the charges as though they never existed. Because mind you, he would have a hell of a bill with all them phones. And I'll tell you right now, Kelly Rocker ain't got the money to pay for 7 to 8 iPhones. And they would wipe his account clean. And he would keep doing it. And I was like, do you not know that you could get locked up? They find out you doing this. Like, do you have any idea what kind of like shit you would be in if people found out? Well, I'm kind of airing his business now. Oh, well, if people found out that you are literally running an entire scheme with Verizon, a whole scheme. Like, are you crazy? He was like, I knew I shouldn't have told you. You're gonna judge me and blah, blah, blah. I said, judge you? I said, fool, you a whole criminal out here. And did you not forget I'm in law enforcement? Did you not forget that I carry a badge and a gun when I go to work? Did you not forget that I have my own standards and laws and everything else that I have to uphold? Like, did you just forget that about me? And you just gonna sit here and just blatantly just say, yeah, I'm stealing shit from Verizon and sending it to people in foreign countries, and since they work for the company, they wipe off my account. Huh? I said, look, this relationship, this bad boy is null and void. I said, I think I've seen enough in Bali. I know I've seen enough in Bali. This ain't it. This is not it. This ain't it. So after I saw that, what happened after that? What happened after that? Oh, so I still had a few days until my flights. So right, criminal. We'll be out in Bali. I'll be getting content. I was like, I'm here. Let me get the best of the content I can get so I can get the heck up out of here. I gotta get up out of Bali. I quickly learned that this man has anger management issues. We'll be out and he'll be taking pictures of me. And if somebody's taking too long to move so I could get up to take a picture, he would start yelling and cussing. And I'd be like, you need to calm down. This is just a damn picture. We got all day. I'm stuck in Bali for a few more days. So it's not like we can go anywhere anyway. So calm down. Like, for real. It's not that serious. His temper went from 0 to Pluto. Yeah, Pluto. Real quick. Lightning fast. Seconds. I swear to God, seconds. It was horrible. His temperament was horrible. He would yell, cuss, scream, just act out. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? It would be times in the middle of the night. We would be laying in bed sleeping. And he would jump up in the middle of the night and just like somebody was after him. And I was like, yo, what is going on? Like, are you okay? Or I just had a nightmare. I'm like, what grown ass man is having nightmares like this? Like somebody is after you. Like somebody want to kill you type shit. And you having to wake up out of your sleep to make sure they ain't coming into the house. Like, and it happened frequently. And it was another sign that God was like, something is not right with this man. So while I left Bali. And I got back on the plane and something told me, you don't need to see this man again. This is a wrap. Like you need to just be completely done. So I got back to the States and this is when shit really, 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 really hit home when I got back to the States. Cause let me tell y'all something, as a woman, until things are 100% cleared up, we're not going to let nothing go. I'm not letting nothing go until 1 + 1 = 2 again. if 1 + 1 is still equaling 4, I still got some research to do. I still got some conversations that need to be had. I'm not going to accept the lie just because you told me a story and I have nothing to back it. So I'm back in the States. I said I need 1 + 1 to equal 2. Mind y'all, we had that discussion about Angela. So I took the phone number out of his phone for Angela. I said, Angela about to get a phone call. I'm back in the States now. My phone work. So I call Angela. I don't get a phone call. And I'm like, all right, I've been calling her. She's not answering the phone. It is what it is. I couldn't find her on Facebook. Come to find out she had me blocked on Facebook. So, him and I got back in touch. He said, listen, I understand at the beginning of the relationship, I lied. He said, I should have told you about Angela and everything else. He said, but I didn't. I was excited about the woman that you are and the relationship and where it could go, that I tried to keep it a secret and hide it because I just didn't want, I didn't want you to dislike me because of my past. And I told him, I said, your past is your past, but it's the present and the future that is what counts to me. And so he was like, well, can you give me another chance? And I'm like, it's too many red flags for me to be entertaining another chance. And he was like, well, as far as the business aspect, would you still be willing to be business partners and host group trips? And I was like, well, after what you did to Mr. Perry, I'm not really feeling that. And he was like, well, I apologize. I didn't think what I did to him was wrong. I provided him with accommodations, even though it wasn't outside paid for accommodations. I still provided him with accommodations and everything else like I said I would. I said, okay. I said, what about the rest of the funds that you didn't use because his trip wasn't completed because he had to come into the States for a funeral? I said, what about that? And he goes, okay, you're right. I'll hold on to the money. I won't spend it. When he's ready to come back, I'll have his funds. And I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. Now, I'm back in the States. He says, I have a group of ladies who's coming to Bali in September, and I would like it for you to fly back out and we host this trip together. He says, just to let you know, one of the ladies is Angela. Angela done pop back up, huh? She done pop back up. So I'm like, oh, I said, you've talked to Angela. He was like, no, I haven't talked to her, but this group trip has been arranged for some months now, and she was always one of the ones who was supposed to go. I said, okay. I said, well, this group of ladies that's coming to Bali, I said, where are they going to stay at? Because Mr. Perry stayed in the villa with you. He said, oh, they're going to stay in the villa with me. Huh? I said, so the group of ladies plus Angela is going to stay in the villa with you? And he was like, yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I said, you are still pursuing a whole relationship with me, and you trying to tell me that you going to be staying in this villa with the same woman that you've been having sex with that was in Bali with you before. I said, do I look like Boo Boo, the motherfucking fool? And he goes, well, you just going to have to trust me. I said, well, damn it, I don't. So I called Angela again. And guess what, y'all? Sweetheart answered the phone. I said, hello, I'm Zakara. And guess what, y'all? She already knew who I was, obviously. So I told her, I said, well, Kelly and I are in a relationship, or pieces of a relationship, because I found out a lot of stuff. I said, I've been trying to get in contact with you since I was in Bali. I feel like you and I have a great deal of things to talk about. I said, when I was in Bali, I attempted to call you because I found pictures of you and him in his phone. And I wanted to get to the bottom of y'all's relationship. I said, according to him, you guys have never been in a relationship. You guys are just friends with benefits in Bali. And your stuff is only in the villa because you're visiting family and you're supposed to be finding a place to stay when you return. She said, excuse me? And I said, and by the way, I said, if you're a part of this group trip in September, if I'm supposed to be dating this guy, I said, I don't feel comfortable with you staying in the house with him um, while this trip is going on or however long it's supposed to be, can you not find another place? Can you not get another place to stay, pretty much? And she goes, well, first of all, that's my house. Ugh. She clear as day. English, no Spanish, no Espanol, no German, no Swahili, none of that. She's clear as day, spoke English and said, that's my house. And I said, excuse me? And she said, the villa that Kelly is staying in? She said, that's my house. She said, I went and found that house. I went and toured that house, and I was there with Kelly when the lease was signed for that house. She said, my stuff is downstairs because I live in that house. She said, I'm only in the States because I'm visiting my family, and I'm picking up my son to bring him back to Bali because we're all going to be living in Bali together as a family. As a family? I said, what do you mean as a family? She said, Kelly and I were in a whole relationship before I left to come to the United States. She said, while I'm in the United States visiting my family, they see him posting pictures of you and him, asking what the hell is going on. Mind you, I'm listening because I'm like, huh? Like, what you mean y'all was in a y'all were dating, like y'all were boyfriend girlfriend? Like, she's confirming everything that I've already seen, but to hear her say it, like to hear her say it was something else. She was like, yeah, we were literally in a full-blown relationship. I came back to the States to visit my family, but to also bring my son back to Bali because we were all going to be living as a family in Bali. She literally told me everything that was in his phone, everything that I'd seen, as far as pictures, videos, text messages, seen it all. And then she was like, one thing she asked me too, she said, we even have businesses that we're starting together. We have a coffee shop. And this is where I cut in. I said, no. I said, you guys don't have a coffee shop in Bali. And she said, what are you talking about? I said, when I was in Bali, we met with one of his friends named Diwa, who was supposed to be helping with the coffee shop. And Kelly convinced him not to do business with you with the coffee shop. So she is like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, she knew I wasn't lying because I wouldn't have known DY's name. I wouldn't have known anything about the business. I even told her, I said, yeah, I said they met up and they decided that they weren't going to do the coffee shop anymore. And I got a feeling it has everything to do with the fact that he abruptly ended his relationship with you. And that wouldn't, obviously, you know, it wasn't going to work. So she calls DY on the phone, and DY tells her pretty much, yeah, we're not doing the coffee shop. But gave her no explanation of why. So on top of that, I told her, I said, you're telling me one thing that you guys weren't in a relationship. Kelly is telling me something else, that you guys were not in a relationship. I said, how about we just squash this whole thing right now and we can get on three-way and we all can talk as grown adults. And she said, oh, sure, I can get on three-way. I said, okay, cool. I'm going to hang up and I'm going to call Kelly and then we'll call you back on three-way. I called Kelly. And he panicked. What? Why are we getting a three-way? What's going to be said? What did you say? What's going to happen? I said, she just wants to get on the phone and confirm that she needs to find her a place to stay for the Bali trip in September. Y'all, I lied like hell to get this man on the phone because I knew for a fact he ain't want to get on this three-way call. Well, anyway, your girl got him on this three-way call. So we get on three-way. And I told Angela, I said, as spoken on the phone, I said, I'm not comfortable with you staying in the house knowing that you and Kelly have had past relations and y'all doing this whole trip and you are going to be in the house past the trip. Because mind you, past the trip, she was going to be living in Bali. She wasn't coming back to the States. So she was going to be still living there. And she said, well, yes, I heard what you said. I said, then she said, Kelly, she said, you didn't tell her that that's my house? And Kelly said, what are you talking about? That's not your house. And she said, I found that villa. I have screenshots in my phone of the messages between me and the landlord of me meeting up with that villa. And I have screenshots of in my phone of me sending you the pictures of the villa, asking you your thoughts on the villa. She said, me and you got that villa together because we were going to live upstairs. My son was going to live downstairs. And then we were also going to run a business out of the downstairs as well. Were we not? And Kelly goes, yeah, we discussed doing the business out of the villa. She says, but we also discussed living in the villa. She says, if we're living in this villa, where was I going to sleep? I'm not going to sleep downstairs. I'm going to sleep upstairs in the bed with you where I usually sleep having sex. And I'm just listening to this. And he goes, well, we were just friends. She said, so everything we did was just friends? She said, we've had sex in the tub. That was just friends. She says, we've kissed in front of everybody in Bali. That was just friends. She said, we got this villa together. That's just friends. We've been operating this business together. That's just friends. Like she went through a whole list of this is supposed to be just friends. And Kelly goes, yeah. And she goes, so I meant nothing to you. We weren't in a relationship. And Kelly goes, no. And she goes, okay. So let me tell you something about the power of Black women. So she continues asking him questions. She already knows the answers to everything because she's lived this life with him. I don't know anything. I'm brand new. So every question that she asked this man, she's asking him questions in order for me to get the answers that I need. This is nothing that she verbally said, but as a Black woman, I could read the room. I could tell by the way she's asking him questions. She asked him questions in the event for me to get what I needed. And she asked him, have we not been intimate? Yes. Have we not discussed bringing our kids to Bali to live in Bali? Yes. Like she's asking him everything and he's literally telling on himself. But the crazy thing is this man don't even fucking realize that he's telling on himself. He doesn't even realize it. He's like, yeah, we agreed to all that, but we were never in a relationship. I never asked you to be my girlfriend. I cannot stand when men try to pull that I never asked you to be my girlfriend card. If you living together, if you having sex, if you feeding each other, back rubs, dick rubs, buying stuff together, talking to each other, kids on the phone, going out to lunch, kissing in public. I don't care if you ask me to be your girlfriend or not. That we in a relationship by default. Stop with that. You ain't asked me to be your girlfriend bullshit. Cause that's the game Kelly tried to play. Y'all was in a relationship. Just did it. Y'all in a relationship. That's what that was. She flew to the States to visit her family and to bring her son back to Bali for y'all to continue being a family. However, during her stay in the United States, he came across me on social media. Now, what sparked his image about me, or sparked my image about him, what sparked his viewpoint about my image was the fact that he saw me traveling. He saw me doing my business. He saw me heavily on social media. He saw my supporters and he saw me as an asset to Airbnb and his company. So here's the thing that I found out about his company. Kelly had no true clients. Remember when I told y'all that all of his pictures, all of his videos had the same women? They were all a group of friends and they agreed to go to a few places with him. But Kelly had no true outside clients. So he needed a face that was going to attract clients, be heavy on social media that people could relate to, that could pull clients into Airbnb. And that's what he saw me as. Because he saw how heavily y'all rock with me on social media. He saw how heavily I posted. He saw the support that I got. And he was like, oh shit, That's what I need, because that's what he lacked. He posts a ton of pictures, he posts a ton of videos, but he doesn't get the traction that I get because I'm genuine with mine. Kelly's not genuine with his. Kelly is he has to be the center of attention. He's all that. He tries to be this romantic poet on social media. I mean, he literally takes the same poetic words and put it on every post, if you want to be honest. Like, that's what he does. He tries to be somebody he's truly not. But with me, I'm genuine and I'm authentic. I don't know why I can't talk tonight. And I'm just me. I don't try to be anybody that I'm not. So when he saw that on social media, that's when he hopped in my DMs. You know, that's when he started to get to know me, wanted to be in a relationship, wanted me to merge companies with him. And me, being little Miss Dum Dum, I agreed because I didn't look into him the way that I should have. Now, fast forward. I'm back in the States, and he hits me up and says, my visa in Bali is going to be up. I'm going to fly to Thailand for a little while, spend some time in Thailand, get some content, then I'm going to fly back to Bali. So let me educate y'all. This is some travel stuff for y'all. Certain countries, if you move to certain countries, you have to go in on a tourist visa. When your visa is up, you have to get your visa renewed. So, a lot of places, in order to get it renewed, you don't just go back to the counter and pay a fee and they give you another one. They make you completely leave the country. You have to leave the country for a certain amount of time, and then you can fly back in and you can stay for another 3-6 months at a time, however long your visa is. So, Kelly tells me that his visa is up, and that he has to leave Bali for a little bit. So he says, do you mind if I come to Charleston? When he asked me that, I said, Charleston? Charleston where? It's a Charleston in Thailand? And he goes, South Carolina, the U.S. And I'm like, why? I said, why would you come here? I said, this relationship's done. I said, why would you come to Charleston? He was like, well, my visa's up, and instead of me flying to another country, I can fly to the U.S. I can work on our relationship and things like that. Now, I forgot to mention this. Back when him and I were on good terms, before I found out everything, him and I discussed us building villas in Bali. They're super cheap to build. You can build a nice villa in Bali for like $30,000. I mean, a mansion type looking villa. That's how cheap it is to build something over there. So him and I discussed building villas in Bali. And we said that during the course of our relationship, he would fly to the U.S. and we would spend time together. And we would stack our money that we could start building villas in Bali and pretty much put them all on Airbnb them out, things like that, as far as like income. The whole real estate stuff. So I told him, I said, that whole contingent thing about you coming to Bali and me moving to Bali and us building villas, I said, that's gone. And he was like, well, at least I can come to the States and work on our relationship. And I said, if you come to the States, you need to be flying to Ohio to see your kids. You ain't seen them babies in I don't know how long. You thinking you gonna come to South Carolina is a dud. That ain't happening. Guess what he do? Got his ass on that plane and flew to South Carolina. He flew to Charleston. He flew right in to Charleston's airport. Calls me, says, hey, I'm at the airport, can you come pick me up? I'm looking like, this ain't real. This ain't real. This man ain't in Charleston. He ain't in Charleston. He was in Charleston. I go to the airport. I pick him up. We come to my house. Mind you, this is like 12 o'clock in the morning. I got to go to work the next morning. Legitly got to be up at like 5 a.m. to go to work. So he comes in. He goes, It's good to be home. You gonna give me a tour of the place? I said, I gotta go to work. I'm going to bed. If you want to tour the place, you can walk around. You can tour it yourself. So I go to bed, wake up the next morning, put my uniform on, go to work. And we are messaging. And he's like, it feels like I'm unwanted. It feels like you don't want me here. I said, I told your ass not to come. First of all, I said, why didn't you fly into Ohio? I said, what sense does it make for you to come here when I clearly told you what I wanted, what I didn't want? So we get through that phone conversation with me at work. We texting back and forth. I come home and he goes, hey, I bought $500 worth of groceries today. I figured I would at least have dinner and stuff ready for you when you come home from work. And I'm like, okay. Y'all, $500 worth of groceries. He had 3 grocery bags. 3. He had went to Publix and bought these big old tomahawk steaks and a bunch of other expensive stuff that he did not need to buy. I said, this was $500 worth of stuff? Huh? And he was like, yeah, I like to eat with the finer things in life and the more expensive quality stuff. I said, you just spent $500 on nothing. And it was legit $500 because I saw the receipt. I had to look at the receipt to make sure I was looking at the right damn thing. And he legitimately spent $500 with 3 bags of groceries. That's bizarre. But anyway, so he goes, what would you like for dinner? I said, I don't know. You bought groceries. Whatever you bought, go ahead and you can cook it. So he gets pissed off and doesn't cook nothing. He goes, well, I asked you what you want for dinner. Since you don't name anything, I'm not going to cook. I said, okay, but you bought groceries. So you obviously need to cook something that you bought. Duh. So anyway, he don't cook. I'm like, that's fine. You ain't got to cook. So I cooked dinner for me and my son, and we ate, finished our day, and went to bed. Now, this is the second day he's in Charleston. I go to work. He's texting me, and the text messages get real rude and disrespectful. And I'm looking like, I know, this hair is making my back itch. I know this ninja is not in my house texting me talking reckless. Like, talking reckless. Real reckless. I said, he is in my house talking reckless. And I'm not going to quote things that he said because I don't exactly remember. But I remember some of the stuff being, yeah, whatever. You can take that somewhere else. Like, he talking real sideways. I'm like, he is in my house. I went home. What did I do? Yeah, I went home, made arrangements for my son to be elsewhere. I took off my uniform. I put on sweatpants and a t-shirt, and I walked downstairs into my kitchen. While he's sitting at the island in my kitchen. And I looked at him. I said, what were you saying when I was at work? And he goes, what are you talking about? I said, you were talking reckless. I said, what were you saying while I was at work? What was your attitude? What's the problem? No, you've been acting real funny since I've been here. And I just don't know. I said, listen, we're going to cut the small talk. Go pack up your shit and get out of my house. He gets up. What? No, we can talk through things. We can work things out. He tries to come around the island and tries to hug me. I said, Kelly, don't touch me. I said, go pack up your shit and get out of my house. It took him 3 hours. 3 hours to pack his stuff. I said, your Uber is on the way. I called him an Uber. I said, I'm not taking you back to the airport. I said, your Uber is on the way. Get your stuff and get out. You weren't even supposed to come here in the first place, and I told you not to. You should have went to Ohio. Well, what am I gonna do? I can't fly all these clothes and stuff back to Bali. I don't have the money for that. I said, that's not my problem. So, mind you, the whole time he's packing stuff up, he's crying and he's pleading, please, Z, I'm sorry, please, we can work this out. We would have been so great together. I said, no, we wouldn't have. Because you think I'm Boo Boo the Fool, and I'm not Boo Boo the Fool. And you're going to be out here doing dumb shit, and I'm going to have to sit here stressed out, cussing you out, and getting you in order all the time. And I just don't want that kind of relationship. So, therefore, we're not doing this. So, the Uber comes. So he takes a walk outside and leaves his suitcases inside of my house. And he walks to the edge of the road. And I'm looking like, why is he at the edge of the road and his suitcase is still in my house? And I'm looking like, he think he gonna leave and leave his stuff in my house. No, 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 no. So I drag his suitcases outside. So the Uber comes and pulls up in front of my house. Mind you, he's standing at the road, which is like far, far out. And I asked myself, are you the Uber here to pick up a man named Kelly? And the guy goes, yes. So we start putting the suitcases in the car. Kelly comes running up. No, I'm not taking these suitcases. I'm not taking these suitcases. I said, well, you don't live in my house and your shit can't stay here. So you taking these suitcases. I'm not taking these suitcases. I ain't got the money to fly this stuff back. It's going to cost me hundreds. I said, Kelly, you can't leave it here. Long story short, homeboy leaves his suitcases in my driveway, gets in the Uber, and leaves and goes to the airport. Oh, honey, at this point, I'm not sure if you understand the law, but at this point, this is called abandoned property. And abandoned property, when it's left on my property, goes in the dumpster. It goes in the trash because it's not going back in my house. Okay? This is a lesson for all of y'all watching this live. Anytime somebody tries to leave clothing, toothbrushes, toothpastes, anything at y'all's house, don't let them do it. Because that's all an officer needs to do to establish residency until you gotta have somebody evicted. Mind you, I'm the popo. So I know these laws. So I know his shit wasn't about to stay in my damn house. So it had to go. Stuff had to go, and guess what? It's in the trash can now. So he gets to the airport, and he calls me, obviously. He's like, please, I can't afford these tickets back to Bali. They cost so much. I said, how much are the tickets to Ohio? I said, you're all the way on this side of the world, and not once have I heard you mention going to see your kids. Well, who am I going to stay with? I said, that's not my problem. I said, you got a whole mama up there. You say she don't like you, but it looks like you need to call your mama and tell her son is in the United States and needs her help. So he flies to Ohio, and he's at the airport, and his mama takes hours to come get him from the airport in Ohio. Hours. She didn't want to get him. They don't have a good relationship. I don't know what happened for them to fall out. That's not my business. But his mama and him, no, that ain't it. So he gets to Ohio, and this is where things get worse, like for me, because I'm still online. I'm posting on social media, and he's calling me in the middle of the night. And he's saying, why are you on social media at 3 a.m.? Like, mind you, he's calling me in the middle of the night, FaceTiming me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, Facebook says you're online. I know good and damn well you're not trusting some damn green light on Facebook to tell you when I am and am not online. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I am not about to be up with you arguing about me being on Facebook. On top of that, what business is it's not your business, even if I am, so what? Well, you told me you were going to bed. Okay. And even if I get off the phone and say I'm about to go do something that I'm not about to go do, I'm a grown ass woman. I can do it. Rudy said never trust a nigga that don't like his mama. Huh. Listen, I'm learning. Definitely learning. So then it goes a little deeper. We get on Facebook. I went out to, one of my friends had a performance down here in Charleston. I wore this pretty orange dress. It was snug, showed the little bit of curves I got, because y'all know I ain't got much. And I posted it on Facebook. And this man texts me, and he goes, that picture is for the streets. For the streets? What's for the streets? You only posted that picture for attention. I said, no, I posted that picture because I looked damn good and I wanted to post that picture. Well, if it wasn't for attention, you would have sent it to me first. What about we not in a relationship? Don't you understand? I'm confused at why what I post on social media and when I'm on social media is now any of your business, because it's not. It's not. It is not no more. So he would get on my posts, he would get on my pictures and post comments like, all mine, or so beautiful, can't wait to see you again. Pretty much comments that kind of like stake his claim. And I would go back and I would delete his comments, because it's like, don't be trying to get on my posts, trying to, you know, have people thinking that we're still in a relationship, everything's going good. Because one thing about Kelly is that he doesn't like negativity attached to his name at all. Like, at all. Like, he didn't want people to know that we were on the outs. He didn't want people to know the truth. He didn't want people, when I put up that post saying that this ninja really just woke me up out of my sleep, accusing me of being online, he messaged me and said, if you tag my name, we're gonna be done. Like, any negativity associated with Kelly Rocker, Airbnb, he would flip out. He would delete stuff. Like, he couldn't stand negativity on social media, because in his mind, he's God himself. So he can't have that kind of stuff floating around on social media. So, hold on, where was I? Oh, yeah. So he would flip out when he would see men comment on my post, men liking my post. Who is such and such? I noticed this guy comments on all of your stuff. I said, for your information, men, the same men, comment on a lot of my stuff. You know why? Because they're my supporters. They support my business. They're also my social media friends. There's nothing wrong with that. So he was jealous about that. So last year also, my car was stolen from my neighborhood. So with me being in law enforcement and being a woman, you guys know that law enforcement is male dominated. A ton of men. Well, when my car got stolen, I contacted my male friends from surrounding agencies, because I have all of my friends, like, I have friends that are in SWAT. I have friends that are in narcotics. I have friends that are in traffic division. Like, I have friends who are in so many different divisions. So I happen to have friends who were able to like track camera systems in Charleston and like see whether or not my license plate on my car, which was stolen, was going through any red lights to track my car. So I was calling my friends from surrounding agencies to get their help. He flips the fuck out. You talking about you ain't got a whole bunch of friends, but all of a sudden, now that your car got stole, you got all these men blowing you up trying to help you. And my car was stolen. If I have friends who can help me get my car back, why would I not utilize those friends to help me get my car back? What can you do? Nothing. You don't have access to these systems. You're not in law enforcement. There's absolutely nothing you can do to help me get my car back. But you are mad because these fellas came together and helped me get my car back? Are you like this is bizarre. Like, this is really bizarre. Or these got to be more than friends. I said, excuse me? I said, no. See, what you're not about to do is try to turn around you and Angela's little situation and flip it back on me because you got caught with your mess. Well, we not about to do that. So he was pissed that all of my friends got together and was helping me track my car. And yes, I did get my stolen car back. I have my car back. I got it detailed. They trashed my car. I was pissed. But anyway, I got the car detailed. I got it back. And he was pissed about that. Well, one of the things that also took place, mind you, after that, I was done. I was completely done. I said, look, we done. You gonna have to be blocked. I can't deal with you no more. I blocked him on every platform. IG, Facebook. I blocked him. And I looked up his name multiple times because he ended up having some fake accounts too that was still trying to follow me with fake accounts. Carla Elizabeth Murray says, I have known Kelly for a few years now. We originally met 10 years ago on a trip to Cuba. He seemed like such a genuine, kind soul. I was looking forward to meeting you guys in Bali when he posted about your new relationship. I'm so sad this happened. Girl, I'm sad too. Honey, I'm happy. I dodged a bullet because that was a hot ass mess. Honey, you can still meet me in Bali, but you ain't gonna meet me with him in Bali. But you can still meet me in Bali. Sorry, girl. What was I saying? So, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Somebody remind me what I was saying. Shoot, what was I saying? I was about to say something good. What was it? What was it? What was it? What was it? Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to think. I lost my train of thought when she put that message there. Oh, so I blocked him on everything. IG, Facebook, everything. Kind of find out, homeboy had some fake accounts that he was still watching my page. So I blocked those accounts too. Well, after I blocked him, people from Ohio, Akron, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio started hitting me up because they realized that on Facebook, we weren't posting anymore. We weren't posting the pictures. We weren't posting the videos. And they were like, Z, what happened? And I was like, listen, I can't talk about it right now. Like this shit is bizarre. Like I flew to Bali, and mind you, I forgot to mention this. I bought the plane tickets to Bali 7 days after meeting him on social media. Like that's how fucking brainwashed I was. And I'm not afraid to admit I made a mistake. We make mistakes, and hey, I learned from it. But damn, I just lost my train of thought again. This is bizarre. Oh, yeah. So to think that I flew to Bali thinking I'm about to be in this amazing relationship, have this amazing business partner, only to find out he flew me to live in another woman's house, lied to the client that he had there. Mr. Perry, if you're watching this live, I apologize. I didn't know the deal with your status of your Bali trip, or I would have did something about it beforehand. He lied to Mr. Perry, said that he had booked the villa for Mr. Perry's stay. He didn't. He had Mr. Perry staying in his home. On top of that, y'all, if you go to his website right now, those of you who can, go to his website. His website is Airbnb. Go to his reviews. You will notice on his website, he has reviews for all last year. Pictures. I don't even think it's pictures anymore. Hold on, let me check. Let me see. I want to be accurate because one thing I'm not about to do is lie. Oh, let me fix my shirt. One thing I'm about to do is not get on here and lie. So let me get on here and make sure I'm quoting you guys correctly. If you can, go to Airbnb.com because I'm about to show y'all a whammy. Airbnb.com. If it's still up. Oh, it's still up. All right. So I'm on his website, Airbnb.com. Now, the first thing that pops up when you go to the website and you barely scroll, it pops up. Oh shit, go back. Excuse my French. Where did it go? The whole page is locked off. That's God telling me to get the hell off his website. I'm sorry, Lord. I gotta show the people something, then I'll get off, I promise. Okay. So once his website comes up, you scroll down just a little bit. It goes our recent reviews on his website. He's got Bali, Indonesia, Lori Tatum, Sharon McDaniels. Okay, Lori Tatum, Bali, Indonesia. 18/10/23 for the dates. Sharon McDaniels, 16/10/23. These are his reviews. Emil Burgess, 11/10/23. Larsa Martin, 25/09/23 for Singapore. Another Singapore, Yolanda Lagori, 27/09/23 for Singapore. Also Singapore, 18/09/23. Y'all, these reviews are fake. This is 2024. All of these dates, 2023. Y'all, remember what I told y'all? He was in Bali. July, September, October, November, December, all of that until now when he went to Ethiopia, he was in Bali. Look at these reviews. These reviews are putting him in Singapore, September of last year. He was in Bali. He never left. Look, like all of these reviews are wrong. It shows him in Egypt in June, a lie. Dubai in January, a lie. Thailand, September, a lie. All of the reviews on his website are wrong. And I brought that up to him. I said, why are you lying with these reviews? I said, these pictures for the reviews don't even match the reviews. On his Thailand review, Nick Jenkins, the picture for his Thailand review is Egypt. How do I know? Your girl done been to Egypt. I done took the picture with this damn Sphinx. Ain't no Sphinx in Thailand. It's in Egypt. It's not in Thailand. Y'all, the reviews are fake. He said, where I need my company to look like people are supporting me, so people will want to support me. So my reviews have to be current. Y'all, his reviews on his page are all fake. They're all fake. And guess what else? This ninja still got me on his website. He still got me on his website. I'm looking at the video right now. Okay, I remember God told me to get off the website. I'm gonna get off the website. I can't have that juju in my house. Y'all, this man still has me on his website. Videos on his website. His reviews are fake. Those people, he never took to Bali. He never took to Thailand. He never took to Egypt. He never took to Singapore. They were never his clients. The biggest thing about Kelly is that he cannot secure clients. He can't. For some reason, he has this website, he has this business that he's created. However, securing clients is something that he's not good at. But it's something that I'm phenomenally well at. Which is why he conjured up this wanting to be in a relationship with me to merge our businesses, because he wanted me to pull in the clients to get Airbnb out there for himself. So he needed the perfect person to do it. He needed the face. And he had told me, he said, I've been watching you on social media for a while, but I just couldn't tell whether or not you were in a relationship. This is what he said to me. And when he said this, I was like, now it makes sense. He didn't think Angela, his real original girlfriend, could do it or bring the awareness to his business the way that I could. So he dropped her cold turkey when she was visiting her family, hopped into a relationship with me, became business partners with me, only to try to build his company. And this is another thing, I forgot to tell y'all this. He told me when I joined the business with him. I'm sorry, y'all. He told me when I joined the business with him, he said, oh, y'all, Karen is in the comments. Oh! Remember I told y'all about Karen that he was living with before we went to Bali? Y'all, she is in the comments. She said, this sounds like a familiar story, and if you want my end of the story for the movie, I'm in. DM me when your live is done. He is a liar and manipulator. I'm glad you got out. I was on his Egypt trip. Keep doing your thing and taking people on amazing trips. Hey, girl. Y'all, this live just took a turn that I... Ooh! So, if there's anybody that was on this live doubting me and my story, y'all, Karen just hopped in the damn comments. Oh my God. Girl, I'm going to DM you. Matter of fact, I'm going to have to call you after this. We got to talk. But yeah, all his reviews on his page are fake. Oh yeah, that's what I was about to say. He told me when I went into business with him that me having, she said, I have the back end and I'm sorry this happened to you. I'm sorry this happened to me too. But I learned, live and you learn, you live and you learn. He told me that I had to delete my business because it was in conflict of his business. He said that if we were going to be a couple and be in business together, I was not allowed to have my original website and things like that because it was a conflict of Airbnb. He said I had to delete my entire business. Mind y'all, I built my business up for 2 whole years before I met Kelly. Built it from the ground up. Y'all saw me while I was posting, travel destinations, and I hadn't went nowhere. Like, to where I'm at now, I had took hard work. So immediately, like, God was like, this is the biggest red, like, this is one of the biggest red flags of them all. For him to tell you to delete your business, delete everything you've worked hard for, it's like, why would I do that? I said, if you and I were to end things or end a relationship and I delete my business, I said, you go right back to Airbnb like you were before, and I go back to nothing. Why would I do that? Well, it's a conflict of interest and you got to delete it. I said, I'm not deleting shit. I'm not deleting anything. I said, if it's such a problem, we don't have to be business partners. I said, if you're looking at me as a threat, how do you look at your own partner as a threat? I said, if anything, that's two incomes. Two incomes is better than one. And your one income, you ain't got no clients, which is why you need my face. We're not doing that. Carla said he was trying to compete with Wedgie and BTM. Yes, he was. And that's another thing that I want to discuss. So there are some other males out there who host group trips as well. And apparently they're all super successful. I haven't met these men myself, but Kelly would talk about them all the time. Reggie and whatever. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, he apparently Kelly originally was going to go into business with these guys. Kelly said that they stole money from him or something happened, and the reason why he no longer decided to go into business with them. And I was like, okay, well, it was all weird. And I was like, he said that's why he started Airbnb, because he had this grand idea. They stole his idea and they didn't want to do business with him anymore. And I was like, oh, well, that's fucked up. Mind you, at the time, I don't know any better, because I'm like, damn, these men, some savages out here. I'm pretty sure now Kelly was lying. But he would always compare himself to these other travel groups. He would talk shit about their logo, talk trash about the fact that they had hundreds of people on their trips. And I'd be like, no disrespect, Kelly, but you can't get clients. So if you have a enemy who has hundreds of people going on their group trips and you have 0 people going on your group trip, maybe you should take some notes. I'm not trying to be funny, but at this point, these men need to be your mentors, because you out here flirting with women to get them on trips with you. And yes, I said that exactly the way I needed to say it. Kelly will get online and flirt with women online to try to get them to go on trips with him. That's mostly how, if he had a group trip and women were on there, the only way he was able to get a woman on his group trips was because he was flirting with them. And then getting them on the group trip and fucking them. Excuse my French, but I'm just going to be real. Like, this is raw and uncut. I'm just going to be honest. That's exactly what he was doing. And I can tell again by pictures that I found in his tablet, because Angela wasn't the only woman that he had videos and pictures of in an intimate way. The same way, I'm pretty sure y'all watched, when he took videos of me in Bali, he would start off down at my feet, he would work the video up, and he would turn the camera towards my butt and towards my back, very intimate. He only created videos like that for the women that he's been with. And it was a pattern. It was a pattern. I noticed it. When I tell y'all, I did some heavy digging. When I tell y'all, I dug from back when he had a divorce all the way up till now. I did some serious digging through his pictures and social media. That's the only way he would get women on his trips. He would flirt with them, tell them to bring their friends, and then he would legitly, that's how he would do. That's how he got one of his trips to Bali. The girl, what was her name? The girl who messaged me on Facebook. Hold on. Let me get her name. The girl who messaged me on Facebook, that long ass message saying that she was in Dillon's with Kelly. She went to Bali with Kelly. She took her group of friends to Bali with Kelly. And he was telling me that when she got there, Allison, that's her name, Allison. when she got there, she was trying to be all up on him and blah, 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 and like they were an item. And I thought that was strange because I was like, why would she be acting like that unless you gave her a notion to do so? And he was like, nah, she's just crazy. Well, guess what? I did digging and I went through his pictures, and there's intimate pictures of him and Allison in his phone too. So, those of you who don't know Kelly, who is not familiar with Kelly and how he operates, Kelly gets online and he flirts with women and he tries to get them to go on his group trips. And if he succeeds, he does what he does with those women, drops them, and he either drops them to find another woman or he tries to get them to go on another destination trip. Now, currently right now, the shit that Kelly has gotten into, I'm going to tell y'all what's going on with him right now. Right now, he's in Ethiopia and he is locked up in Ethiopia. So this is why he is in Ethiopia. Call me a liar, but I bet you money. Do your research and you can get it proved. So, like I told y'all, his visa, he has to leave Bali for a certain amount of time and then come back into Bali. Why does that matter, y'all? He went online, found a woman in another country to fall in love with and say that she's going to be his wife and he's going to be her husband. And guess what? When his visa is up, he flies to Ethiopia, spends time with her in Ethiopia. And when when he's eligible to get a visa to go back to Bali, he flies back to Bali. What happened this time? This time in Ethiopia, he overstayed his visa in Ethiopia. It wasn't time for him to go back to Bali yet. He overstayed his visa in Ethiopia. He went and tried to renew his visa in Ethiopia, and they told him, your visa here is up. You owe us money. Now, Ethiopia is known for getting people out of money. They told him, you owe us 1,000 USD. Me knowing Kelly and his temperament, when they said that, he blew up, he showed his ass, and ended up getting to a physical altercation with them. They beat his ass like he said they did online. And they secured his passport. And they not releasing him or his passport until they get their money. Now here's the thing. Kelly ain't got no money. He ain't got that money to pay them. Let me tell you why he ain't got that money to pay them. First of all, Kelly don't make that, he don't make money out of his business at all. He doesn't make money out of his business. He told me that he gets paid alimony from his divorce around the 6th or 7th every month. How true that is, I don't know. It's probably a lie. But anyway, he doesn't have, or not that he doesn't have, he could possibly have, but he's not going to spend thousands of dollars to get his passport back and his visa. You know why he's not going to spend it? Because if he does that, he's not going to have the money to fly back to Bali. He either spends the money and is stuck in Ethiopia, or he doesn't give them the money and has the money to fly back to Bali. So right now, I bet you money, Kelly is betting on his newly found woman to provide the funds to get him out of jail over there, or he's waiting for somebody to feel sorry for him, start a GoFundMe, and get him the money to get out of jail so he can use his money to fly back to Bali. This is where meeting a woman and pretending to be in a relationship in another country to use her to have a place to live goes wrong. His karma finally caught up and bit him in a booty hole. He is living a nightmare. He locked up right now. All the karma that he's done to Allison, to Karen, to Angela, to me, and to every other woman that I don't know about yet, it has caught up to him. He is living out his karma right now, locked up in Ethiopia, and they over there beating his ass. And I don't wish harm on anybody, but you reap what you sow. When he get out of that jail, I bet you money he gonna fly back to Bali as soon as he can. He's not going back to Ethiopia. Little miss, I'm his wife, or I'm gonna be his wife. Baby, that's gonna be the last time you see Kelly. Kelly ain't coming back to Ethiopia, and if he do, he a fool. Oh, he a fool. He gonna find another woman elsewhere. And mind you, he ain't flew that woman to Bali. I bet you money she can't leave Ethiopia. I bet you money she cannot leave Ethiopia. She looked vulnerable. She looked uneducated. She just looked like she believed any and everything this man done said to her. And I'm pretty sure the same lies he fed to me and everybody else, he done fed to her. So, those of you who are wondering about what happened and me surviving Kelly Rocker, yeah. Because my thing is, everybody else can't be the problem. In Kelly's mind, everybody else is the problem. Allison was the problem. Angela was the problem. Karen was the problem. His mama was the problem. His ex-wife was the problem. His daughter was the problem. These other men who own their travel businesses were the problem. But Kelly was never the problem. I said, Kelly, have you ever stopped to think that it's you that's the issue? Not everybody else. It's you. You are fighting so many demons. Instead of you facing these demons head on, you decide you wanted to fly across the world and country hop and run away from your issues. But here's the problem with what he's doing is the fact that he's scamming everybody in his path. He's doing everybody in his path wrong. A good friend of mine that I met through him, Miss Patricia, she went on a trip to Tanzania with him. Kelly did not pay the tour guide the money that he was supposed to pay the tour guide. He shitted them out of money. And I feel so bad for them because they did a whole experience in Tanzania and Kelly didn't pay them what they should have paid them. Kelly accused another woman of stealing money when she didn't do it. She was about to lose her job. Like, Kelly he's a tornado. He's a wrecking ball. And he destroys everything in his path. But he gets online and he puts on this image like he's this charming gentleman, and he's not. There's nothing charming about him at all. Nothing charming about him. I've got text messages in my phone of him just being a complete monster in my text messages. I'm looking like, who is this? Like, who is this? And it sucks because when you're on the outside and you don't know or you have nothing to validate what someone is saying, but your intuition is like, I know something's wrong. But what's crazy from my experience is that God literally showed me so many red flags. So many red flags. And I was like, this is bizarre. And when it happened, I was embarrassed to get on social media and be like, y'all, I just posted I was in love with this man, but this has been a whole nightmare. He said, there is one common fact, Nick, KJR, this whole thing is baffling my mind. It's bizarre. Because he is a real life monster. He is a real life monster. Like, for me to get on social media and post, oh, I love this man, I'm going to move to Bali, we're in this relationship, we're building businesses together, and only to find out it was all a lie. Like, it was all a lie. Everything about his life is, I'm not going to say everything about his life is a lie, but what he portrays is a lie. His website, like the reviews, like what he posts, oh, I'm looking for the best of love, and he gonna bust hell wide open when God called him home. Oh my God. Whew. Oh my God. That's bizarre. It's bizarre. Like, I can't believe, as smart and as intelligent as I am, I did not see the bullshit until I got to Bali. I'm honestly grateful that I went to Bali because Bali uncovered everything that I needed to see. If I had not have went to Bali, honestly, I probably would have been in the dark for so much longer. And I still don't know how it would have uncovered. But me going to Bali showed me everything, the clothes in the house, like the rental agreement on the couch, like the stuff in his tablet. Like, I'm grateful that I went. It was a very, unfortunate experience how everything played out. However, I'm grateful because from this experience, I was able to reconstruct my business into group trips where I'm now hosting my own group trips the right way and I'm not scamming anybody. I was able to discover the beauty of Bali and, live there for, a month and enjoy all of that. But the hell that I went through behind the scenes that you guys didn't see, y'all, it was mind blowing. And it still is mind blowing because I'm pretty sure there's a lot that I still have not uncovered. And honestly, at this point, I've uncovered enough for me. I just pray that the young lady who is being brainwashed right now, I pray that God covers her. And I pray that the red flags flow in so she can get out. Kelly dug his grave and he got to lay in it. He made his bed, he got to lay in it. I don't wish no harm or no ill intentions or ill will on him, but he's got to answer to God now. And it is what it is. So it was so lovely being on here with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my Surviving Kelly Rocker series. I am still mind blown that Karen hopped in the comments because that I was not expecting, but I'm gonna give her a call and talk to her because yeah. Carla, honey, stay clear of Kelly. Don't go on no trips with him. Be safe. Ladies, if you're following Kelly and you're interested in his group trips, don't do it. Beware. I ain't telling you to come on my group trips. You can go on anybody's group trips. Just don't go on Kelly's. Protect yourself. This is from one woman to another, just being real. I went through what I went through, so y'all don't have to go through what I went through. I'm here to help y'all and be the buffer to protect you guys. And by the way, I did reach out to Allison to tell her thank you for the message and for trying to warn me, but I haven't been successful with being able to get in contact with her. But looking back, I do appreciate the fact that she did reach out and try to warn me because nobody else did. And I pray that Angela is doing well, and I'm pretty sure Angela is living her best life. She's not the kind of woman to continue to entertain bullshit and mess. So I'm pretty sure she's doing phenomenally well. But I wish I could talk to her and catch up because she was a beautiful, beautiful soul. I really liked Angela when I talked to her. But yeah, that was my crazy experience. In 2 days, you guys, I am flying back to Bali. I am taking a small group with me to experience Bali itself, the itinerary. I have some beautiful things lined up for them, some surprises lined up for them. I'm super nervous because this is my first official group trip. Usually I go everywhere solo, but this is my first official group trip. I'm excited. Their merch has gotten in. I can't wait to surprise them at the villa. And I just can't wait to have a ball with them and create those experiences in Bali. So please stay tuned because in 2 days, y'all are about to get spammed with Bali content from me, my group, my travelers. I love you guys. Continue to support me. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all have a wonderful night. Bye.